In this video, we will be discussing the NSString class. NSString is the Objective-C class for working with immutable strings. Immutable means that these strings are not modifiable once they have been created. So what exactly is an NSString? An NSString is a representation of an array of characters. This means that individual characters are strung together to create a word, sentence, paragraph, etc. In order to demonstrate how to create and use strings, let's fire up Xcode and create a new project. I've launched Xcode, and I'm going to create a new project by clicking on Create a New Xcode Project. I'm going to choose Command Line Tool, and I'm going to set its type to Foundation. Click Choose, and I'm going to call this one Strings. And when it first opens up, I'm going to toggle Open the Strings under the Groups and Files, and then Source, and choose strings.m. Now there's basically three ways that you'll create strings in Objective-C. The first is to create a constant string, the second is to use class methods, and the third is to use instance methods. So we'll start off by creating a constant string. So we'll declare the type. This is an NSString, and we'll call this one string1, and we'll just set it to a constant string of string1. And the second way is to use a class method, and we'll call this one string2. And for the class method, we'll start off with an opening brace. We'll call NSString, because that's the class that we're sending the message to, and we'll say string with string. And we will just give it string1. And the third way is to use an instance method. So we'll do the same thing. Say it's a string. We'll call it string3. And this time we're going to have to alloc and init. So we'll start off with NSString, and we'll send it the alloc message. And this just allocates memory for it. And then we are going to init with string. And the same thing, we'll give it string1. Now, since we created the string init with string using the alloc and the init method, we need to release that when we're done. So to release this, we would say string3, release. And it's that simple. So we get done, we create the string, we use it. When we're finished with it, we just release it. That's good memory management. So let's see what are some of the things that we can do with NSString. So let's take string1 and we'll upcase it, and we'll create a new string from that. So we'll say NSString, and we'll just call this one upcase, and we will send string1 the message uppercase. And see how it auto-completes for me? I just hit tab, it'll take me to the end, and that will create an uppercase string. So let's go ahead and log this. Now the NSLog statement takes, if you're familiar with C at all, the printf statement. This is very similar to that. It just had some added functionality to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of hello world. And I'm going to put in the % and the @ symbol. And that will give me the description. And we'll cover that later, what the description is and how you can override it and provide your own description. But for now, the description of string1 is string1. So this is what it will return to us. And I'll just put in string1. And I'm going to use Command R to run this. You can also come up to the top and click Build and Run. So I'll just click that now. And it's going to build the project. And when it finishes running, we can see down here in the console that it says string1. Now I did get some errors. I got two errors, two compile warnings. And those are for unused variables. We can see right here that I've created variables, but I haven't used them. So Xcode is being friendly and just letting me know these are variables that I may not need if I'm not using them. To avoid getting compiler warnings, I'm going to go ahead and comment out a couple of these. And to do comments, you do the / and an asterisk. And this is for a multi-line comment. I'll go down and pick this one up. And to end it, you end it just the opposite. You put the asterisk and the /. And so anything between those two, as you can see, they're turned green now. And that means that they are commented out. They will not be executed or looked at by the compiler. So the next thing we'll do is use init with format. And this is the same thing as the NSLog. We can use a formatted string to create another string. So we'll say NSstring. We'll call this one format string. And we'll go ahead and alloc and init with format. And the format we'll use is the %at, and we'll say is, and then we'll do %d, and this is going to be for an integer. And we'll just get how many characters there are in this string. We'll end it with quotes, we'll put a comma, and the first thing we'll do is type in string 1, so that's going to be our string, and then we want to get the string's length. So I'll do string 1 again, and then put in length. Then I'll finish up the brace, and now we'll print this to the log and see what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and just copy format string, paste it over, and I'll run it. And now we can see that string 1 is 10 characters long. So what's happening here is we have these placeholders. So the %at and the %d, there are many different placeholders. The most common ones are d for integer, f for float, and at for the description that you get from Objective-C. And then what happens is these placeholders are set, and to the right of the comma, we start putting them in comma-separated values, and these are substituted out in order. So the %at will get substituted at string 1, and the %d will get substituted with the string 1 length, just as we saw when we printed this to the console. We've barely scratched the surface with NSstring, so we will continue this in our next video.